Okay, here we have Cecilia and Jenna, and they're both freshmen in the Gold Duster dance team here at Purdue University. And Cecilia, let's start with you. This is your first year in the Dusters, correct?
Yes.
And you tried out last
April.
What was that like?
Oh my gosh, it was not what I expected it to be. There were a lot of girls there, and they had actually 2 cuts because there were so many girls there. So I wasn't even expecting to make the first cut after I saw all the talent that was there, but I made the first cut, and then I ended up making the second cut. But it was a really long day, but it was great. It was a great experience.
It was an all day?
It was all day. It was from 8 o'clock in the morning to like 6 at night. We had an hour for lunch, so.
Were you pretty exhausted at the end of it?
Yeah, I could not walk the next day.
Well, that was probably good training because on a game day, Saturday, you're pretty busy all day, right?
Yeah, we have report time at like 8 o'clock, 8:30, and we don't get released till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon if it's a noon game, so.
What was your experience when you found out that you made the dance team? What did that feel like?
Oh my gosh, well, I cried. Obviously, I'm a really emotional person, but it was great. My dad went to school here, my mom went to school here as well. My mom was in the band, and my dad played football, so it was like a family thing for me. It was really
Wow.
just a really traditional thing.
Jenna, how about you? What was your experience that day when you were trying out? Was it hard, nerving? Were you nervous?
Yeah, it was really hard because I'm not used to so much technique on my old team, and then we get there at tryouts and there's all this technique, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? I'm over my head, and then I ended up making it, and it was so surprising. I looked at the list and I was like, that's my number. Wow, okay. And then we all went out to, we came back here to the studio and like had a little team bonding and like learning about each other, and that was really fun to get to know like the girls that I'm going to be spending most of my time with this year.
Why don't you explain when you said that, my number? Tell me how that works.
Oh, at tryouts you get a number and you like pin it on whatever you're wearing, so when you're trying out, instead of being like, instead of the judges having to know everybody's name, they say like, oh, number 22 was good at this, or number 15 was good at this, so it's just like easier for the judges. And
It's like a confidentiality thing too.
yeah.
So when you you start the Dusters, how many routines did you have to learn to begin with?
That's funny. I can't count them.
Oh,
I
well,
can't count them.
the day that we made the team, we received a DVD that had the Purdue fight song and a sideline. So over the summer, while we weren't with the Dusters, we had to learn the fight song, which we do every day a zillion times, and then a sideline for football. And then we had a Duster Days, which is the camp for the Gold Dusters, and that was, 4 days?
Yeah.
4 days long, and it was here at the studio, and we learned
Ridiculous.
We learned sidelines, we learned fight songs, we learned cheers, we learned a volleyball dance that we're doing tonight at a volleyball game. And then at band camp, we learned more. So before school even started, we knew all the fight songs, all the sidelines, all the cheers, a technical jazz dance.
It was
crazy.
a lot.
It was a lot.
My brain was on overload. And then we start classes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to learn about biology. And
Yeah.
So was there a dance team when you were in high school that was with the marching band?
no.
Okay. So had you ever marched before?
No. No.
So besides learning the routines, you had to learn how to march.
Yeah, that was
an experience.
quite an interesting couple of days.
That was an experience.
You don't realize how hard it is. You really
it's
don't.
really hard.
It's so hard. And you're sore the next day.
So you have a lot of respect for all the band members
Oh
that
my
have to do all that
gosh.
marching.
Oh, I can't
Yes.
even imagine having to play an instrument and march and move different directions while you're marching.
I have no idea how they get
I don't
to
know
the
how they do
spots.
it. I don't know how they do it.
Well, they probably wonder how you know all the dance routines too. So I suppose it's equal. But
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that.
had you ever performed in front of as many people in your lifetime before Ross Haid and your first experience there?
No.
It was so cool.
Most people I've ever performed in front of is like 300 people at the most.
So were you nervous when you first walked into Ross Haid?
Yes.
Yeah.
I looked up, I was like, oh my. I turned to one of the girls since it was pregame, not everybody was there. I was like, are all of these seats going to be filled? And she went, yep.
It was good.
My heart dropped a little bit when
Yeah.
she said that.
It was hot that day.
So
Oh
hot.
my gosh.
Oh my
We were
gosh.
dripping. The band didn't even get to wear their uniforms. They didn't
know.
even get to wear their uniforms the first game. It was so hot. And the band always wears their uniforms. Like, I don't ever remember seeing them not in their uniforms.
No.
So did the heat affect you a lot in your stability
Yeah.
or stamina, rather?
Definitely. Oh my gosh. By the time the second half was starting, I was like, I don't know if I can do it, guys.
Yeah. I think we sat majority of third quarter.
We did.
Because, like, we get lunch on the field and stuff, and so I think we ended up sitting, like, majority of third quarter because it was so hot.
Some girls like had to sit out for most of the game because they were feeling lightheaded, and
We
my
had a
uniform.
girl pass out, too.
Mhm.
So she couldn't dance either.
Gosh, it was horrible.
So Cecilia, before you came to Purdue, tell me a little bit about your dance background, a little bit more.
Well, actually, I have been taking studio dance for 13 years, but the majority of what I do isn't actually dance. I'm a baton twirler, actually, and I've been competing in twirling for 15 years. I've been on the world team 5 times, so the majority of my training is from that sport, but that sport really incorporates a lot of dance, and so I was able to bring my skills from twirling into dance, and I was able to do the Gold Duster dance team this year.
So therefore, the T-shirt that says "I twirl."
That would
But you're not a twirler this year in the
No,
band.
not at Purdue, nope.
Would you be?
I am gonna try out, but it's a possibility. You never know.
Okay.
Yeah,
How about that?
that's cool. Yeah, my mom was the Golden Girl here, and she was the girl in black and the Golden Girl, and then the year my mom was the Golden Girl, my aunt was the girl in black.
Oh wow.
So it's a little bit of history for me. Yeah.
So we might see you in one of the solo twirler positions next year.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you plan on trying out for the Gold Dusters again next year, Jenna?
Yeah, I do. It's a lot of work, but it's 100% worth it. Like first time you walk on that field, or first time you march just down like the street on campus with the band, you're like, oh gosh, I could never let this go. Like I can't not do it next year. I have to try out. It's not an option not to.
Do you like marching in front of the band?
I do. There's like a weird
It's so
kind of
fun.
like giddiness that you get when you're marching down the street and you see all these people like, what are they doing? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. And you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're pretty cool.
And people taking your pictures and your video camera.
Everybody with their like iPads, like, you know
Yeah.
that they're just about to send that to their parents. Like, look what happens at my school,
I know.
Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, what do you like the most about being in the Dusters?
I love being on the field during a football game. Not
Okay.
only like feeling the energy from the crowd and from all of us getting so excited, but like literally being so close to the field on Rossade, which I've like watched my whole life, is just like so surreal. And like being able to pump up the crowd to like pump up the team and potentially get the Boilers to win is awesome. Just best
Had you
feeling
ever
in the
been
world.
to Rossade before?
I have. I've been going to Purdue football games for forever because my whole family has gone to Purdue. My dad, my mom, my sister, my brother, my grandma, my grandpa. Like
So both of you have family
Yeah.
tradition here.
Purdue's
Yeah.
a pretty big
Tradition,
Yeah.
family, yeah.
school.
I think a lot of kids in the band this year have had like parents or brothers and sisters at Purdue, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Did you even consider another university?
No.
Yeah, I did. I was considering Michigan, but I don't know. I just didn't fit in. I went to visit and didn't fit in, and I came here, and I was like, I couldn't be anywhere else.
This is where it's at.
Yeah, this is where it's at for sure.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this today.
Thank
We
you.
know you got a volleyball game coming up tonight, and you
Yeah.
need to get in there and work on your routine. So
Yeah.
Yep.
you have a nice evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.